A photograph is a frozen memory, a snapshot of reality. But sometimes, reality has things to show us that don't belong, things we aren't supposed to see. This is the story of a photographer who captured a door that shouldn't exist. And what happened when the door started opening? Welcome to Room 13A. The artist narrator. In the summer of 2019, Ethan Ross had nothing going for him except a camera and an idea. At 34, his career as a photographer was lukewarm at best. Some freelance gigs, a few modest gallery showings. But Ethan wanted something different, something lasting. He'd been working on a personal project, Vanishing Boston, a collection of photographs documenting the decaying architecture of the city before it disappeared forever. He'd shot everything: boarded up theaters, old factories, forgotten row houses slated for demolition. And then he found the Ashcombe, a boarded-up brick hotel on Ashmont Street in Dorchester. Built in the 1920s, the Ashcombe had been abandoned for decades. Locals said it was haunted. Others claimed it was a squatter haven. For Ethan, it was perfect. The facade was crumbling, windows boarded with mismatched plywood, and above it all, a weather-worn sign with the name still visible in cracked gold paint: the Ashcombe. It was slated for demolition in a matter of weeks. Ethan knew he had to capture it before it vanished forever. The first photo on a gray Saturday evening, Ethan parked across the street, grabbed his vintage Nikon F3, and began shooting. Wide shots of the whole building. Close-ups of the ornate, decaying trim. Angles of the broken windows that gave the building a hollow, staring look. He lingered near the right side of the hotel, where a section of brickwork dipped into shadow. Something about it caught his eye. He took a few frames there before the light faded and headed home. In the darkroom later that night, Ethan carefully developed the film. One print stopped him cold. In the photograph, near the right-hand corner of the hotel, clear as day, was a door. A wooden door. Dark green, with a single brass number nailed to it, 13A. Ethan stared at it. He'd walked that wall. He'd studied that brickwork in detail. There had been no door. The door in the print. He leaned in, inspecting every detail. The door wasn't weathered like the rest of the building. It looked freshly painted, untouched by time. And then his stomach tightened. In the brass number plate's reflection, he could make out a face. A pale, blurry reflection. It looked like someone standing behind him. But he had been alone. The return the next morning, Ethan went back to the Ashcombe. He paced the length of the wall where the door had been in the photo. Brick, mortar, crumbling foundation, but no door. He held the print up against the wall. The location matched perfectly. As he stared, someone called out from across the street. "Looking for the door? It's not for you." Ethan turned. A man in a dark hoodie stood on the opposite sidewalk. "What did you say?" Ethan shouted. The man didn't answer. By the time Ethan crossed the street, he was gone. The second shot, Ethan tried to dismiss it. Maybe an old doorway bricked up decades ago. But the reflection? The fresh paint? Something was wrong. He returned again that night. Same wall. Same camera. Same spot. Click. When he developed that roll, the door was there again. But this time, it was open. Beyond it was a narrow hallway. At the far end, a wooden chair. Upright. Empty. Except in the shadows behind it. A figure. Indistinct. Tall. Standing motionless. The obsession over the next week, Ethan kept going back. Each time, the door appeared clearer in the photos. And each time, it seemed to change. First open slightly, then wider, then the hallway extending farther back, as if pulling him in. On the fourth visit, he noticed something else: his reflection. In the brass number plate, his own reflection wasn't matching his pose. In one shot, he was looking away when he knew he'd been facing the camera. In another, he was smiling. He hadn't been smiling. "Mia," he called his friend Mia, another photographer. "I need you to see this," he said. She met him at the Ashcombe the next evening. "There's nothing here, Ethan," she said, standing in front of the brick wall. "Just wait." He snapped a photo with Mia, standing next to him. When the print developed, her face went pale. There it was. The door. And in the reflection of the brass plate, both of them smiling. Except neither of them had been. The hallway. By July 12th, Ethan's obsession had turned dangerous. He brought a tripod, set the camera on a timer, and positioned himself directly in front of where the door appeared. Click. He stepped forward. 2 steps. 3. Pressed his hand against the brick where the door should be. It felt soft. For a moment, He swore his hand passed through. The last frame that night was the last anyone saw Ethan Ross. When Mia couldn't reach him for days, she went to his apartment. The door was ajar. Inside, camera gear scattered on the floor, film rolls undeveloped, and his tripod, with one roll left inside. When she developed the final frame, it showed the hallway again. But this time, Ethan was no longer outside. He was inside, blurry, mid-step, walking deeper into the darkness. The police investigated. No sign of Ethan. No evidence of a break-in. Officers searched the ashcombe. Still no door. Just the same crumbling bricks. But one officer, off the record, admitted, "When we were in there, I heard a camera shutter, like someone taking pictures behind the wall." Aftermath: the ashcombe was demolished in 2021. Developers built a parking garage on the lot. But rumors linger. Photographers have reported capturing unmarked doors in their photos of the street. Always slightly different. Always gone when they look back. And one urban legend spreads among Boston photographers. If you shoot that wall at night, sometimes the door comes back. If it's open, don't look too long. Because if you do, you'll end up in the next photo. A camera doesn't lie. It captures truth. Even the truths we aren't meant to see. And some doors only exist long enough to let someone in. This has been Room 13A. Subscribe for more stories caught between reality and the unseen. And remember, next time you take a photo, look closely. There might be more in the frame than you expect.